Hello, myself Sunil Ramkrishnan Nair. Basically, today we are going to talk about the topic of formula, and in this, basically, we are discussing the sales industry, what actually the sales is. So, just now we have saw the educational sales, what actually up to the dangerous level the educational sales is, because this is actually very dangerous only. Because if anything happens to that physical place, that is basically 500 cities, then basically entire education system is going to suffer basically. But for that, basically, power companies and energy companies says that we have the backup of each and every 500 cities up to the certain time periods. Basically, that also basically is there. So like this, basically, they have the backup of each and every 500 cities and each and every 102 brains power. Basically, you can say. So they have the backup of each and everything. Basically, you can say. So due to that, basically, if anything happens to the 500 cities, then basically they can create the 500 cities again, and they can create a fresh basically education basically system basically we can say. Like this basically they says that each and every people, each and every 102 books basically data basically energy basically they have it. So there is no need to worry about the brains basically you can say. The people who say was fun basically person told that if you want to expire any books basically, then basically this type of thing basically has never happened basically in the life. But then also if any person says that they want to expire one book basically, then basically they just need to finish that physical areas from on the base of that books, on the base of that book basically the entire physical area is created. That's all basically. So whenever basically if anybody read that books also basically, but the physical area does not exist, then basically after a certain time basically the power company will also not going to take that power data. So basically that data is not going to come into the environment only. So basically if any person reads the books, then basically he will not understand the book basically. Why? Because the data has not captured by the power companies of that book basically, because that book is already expired. So basically the power company says that just see basically up to the level of educational system is connected with the sales industry. So sales has connected to the education industry also you can see. The sales has, so education has converted into sales industry, that also you can see. So here basically we are talking about that expired book basically, which says the government says that we have expired that book and we have finished that physical area also. But this type of thing has never happened. So I'm just taking the example basically, worst example up to worst level basically education system is connected with the sales system, the worst level basically you can say. So the physical area is also finished, then basically the books is also finished. But basically few people says that we have still that book basically, then basically whenever they are going to read that book basically they are not going to understand they are not going to understand, because to understand the thing basically you need the chain basically, chain of the understanding basically the books basically what is written. For example, in first page basically whatever thing is written, that might possible you can um, if you understood that first page book basically, then basically after reading from certain page basically then you reach to 100 100 number page basically. And basically when you are reading that 100 number page, so the first page whatever things is written, that should be clear basically. So the chain generation which is basically from first page to 100 page, 100 number page, that is going to generate whenever the physical location exists basically. If the physical location does not exist, then basically you read 100 times books also, then also basically you are not, your brain is not going to take that chain basically. Not going to understand that book basically whatever you do, because the power company says that we are not taking that data in the environment. We are not taking the data from that 500 cities, because that city basically that physical area is also finished to the dead. Due to that basically there might be some reason basically, I just taken just as an example only basically. So the physical area is finished, due to that basically power companies are not taking, and then basically they are not supplying the ideas basically you can say. They are not supplying the energy basically you can say. So if they are not supplying the energy, they are not supplying the power company power data, then basically how basically the brain is going to capture that data basically, whatever things are getting readed by the uh, students basically we can say, because it's a students book basically you can say. So like this basically each and every things is connected. I had taken just as a worst example, but this type of thing has never happened. That's why basically here basically we are covering each and every sales industry, each and every formula things basically up to what level the formula things is going to connect. That's why basically I have taken the worst to worst example basically you can say. So like this basically each and every things is connected, chained are connected. Like this basically the education system also connected to the sales industry, and sales industry says that we are doing up to the level, um, up to the level basically of the product creation basically you can say. So you can say that the product industry basically who are creating into the products basically, they have selected their student on the base of educational system basically you can say. Few people say that if you are taking the Harvard University people, if they are having some 80 percentage also, then also we can take, because their education level is up to that level. So basically what they think, that basically what they think. So basically here basically I want to say that the Harvard University group basically who are reading this, who basically have the books basically, and the books basically are up to that level basically you can say, that basically if you get 80 percentage also, then also basically it's enough. So if you are getting 80 percentage, that means you have a up to that level knowledge, so that you can able to create the product of the banking industry. That is basically 1,000 cities equal to text box, and 2,000 city created on the base of this combo box basically. So up to that level basically the knowledge you have basically. If you are if you are into this uh, if basically you are into this up to this level basically you can say, and the education system is up to this level basically you can say. So the Harvard University basically student brain has developed up to that level, that they can create the product basically, even they basically gets the 80 percentage, because their studies are up to that level basically you can say. The people, the Harvard University says that we have selected these all books, and on the base of this book basically, um, the set of energies are basically getting, and the people are reading the books, and up to that level basically they are understanding the things, and they are getting, if they are getting up to 80 percentage also, then also basically you can select them basically, because their educational mapping has done up to that level basically, that the banking products they can create basically. So just to see basically the education system is connecting to the sales industry, and the sales industry is connecting the formula is connecting the attributes, and the attributes is connecting the balance sheet. That is basically more than 1,000 attributes are there, and more than 1,000 balance sheets are there. And balance sheets are basically by default connecting to the each and every industry. Here basically we are taking the industry as a sales industry and the education industry. Basically, how basically both are correlated to each other. Both basically up to what level the basically both are connected with each other. So basically, whatever according to the education level knowledge, basically who are basically the person basically has taken from the university. According to that, basically he got the selected. He got the selection according to he got selected by the certain directors. Basically, you can say the certain directors have selected the people according to the educational. Basically, you can say, and on the base of educational and knowledge, basically. Um, Educational and knowledge basically you can say. And nowadays basically knowledge is also taken into picture basically, and like this basically you can say the person is selected on the base of education and the knowledge, and few people are taken on the base of knowledge and the experience. Like this basically the banking products creation has started, and on the base of the percentage got, the people have, here basically I'm talking about the fresher basically, the fresher people who are up to the fresher level, and basically they just came from the college side and the education side, and from the outside universities basically Harvard, Oxford, and like this basically there are many colleges. So like this basically there are the people has been selected, and they started the product creation basically. So according to the directors, the product creation has started, and the directors basically know that this person have which type of knowledge, which type of books he has read it. Because without book reading books, without the knowledge, you can't basically know basically what is banking industry, what is the product creation. So each and everything basically, if you want to know, then basically if you want to jump into banking industry, then basically you should know something, right? Or basically few people says that few people takes the example of the ICICI bank basically. One girl basically was a clerk basically, and then she started as a career as a clerk, and then she reached to the MD basically, up to the MD level basically. So there basically education was not there, but the qualification was there. Sorry, but the qualification was not there, but the education was sorry, the knowledge was there basically, and the experience was there. So there basically sometime basically experience also comes into the picture. So like this, each and every things basically you can connect with each other. So here basically we are talking about the sales industry, education industry, um, the formulas. The formulas connects with the attributes. Attributes are connected to the set of balance sheets, and balance sheets are connected to the each and every sector. So here basically we are taking as a sector is of education and sales. How basically the sales and education basically are connected. Basically one of the person basically asked me the question basically what actually the sales is. So these all are basically sales. So basically you can say, and we are going to see a little bit more detail about the sales and how basically sales are connected to the education industry, and how the education industry and sales industry are connected with the software industries formulas and the attributes, and how the attributes are connected with the uh, um, um, balance sheets, and balance sheet basically those groups only can prepare who have a good knowledge of chartered accountant, who are basically into the good knowledge of accountancy, and basically who have a degree of CA and chartered accountant. Because this few people says that even basically if they have the good experience basically, then also they can prepare the balance sheet. But this basically balance sheet is totally different balance sheet. That is basically text box is equal to 1000 cities, and combo box equals to 2000 cities basically. So here basically those people can create the balance sheet who have a good knowledge, and other basically who have a good education qualification, that is basically chartered accountancy degree created, degree basically they passed. And few people says that few good knowledgeable people also can able to create the balance sheets, but this balance sheet is totally different and totally tough basically you can say, because it's connected with each and every sectors, each and every one education sector which basically just we have. So just now basically we have saw the sales sector how basically it is connecting. So like this basically each and every sectors we are going to connect up to the level formula what is going to connect. Just see just now basically it has connected with the education and sales industry groups.